Listen, I want you to hear me clearly right now because what I'm about to say is going to shake something inside you. It might even piss you off, but that's good. That's good. That's how change starts. Your future is your fault. Not your parents, not your boss, not luck, not the government, not the economy, not the circumstances you were born into. It's you. And until you accept that fully, completely, painfully, you will stay stuck exactly where you are. You will keep waking up with the same frustration, the same excuses, the same habits, and the same life, and the same life. The moment you finally admit, my future is in my hands, everything changes. I'm not saying everything is your fault. I'm saying your response is, and that response will build brick by brick the life you experience next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 years from now. Let me tell you something powerful. When you blame your circumstances, you give away your power. When you blame your past, you hand over the steering wheel of your life to ghost. When you blame people, you make yourself small, weak, and helpless. And you're not helpless, you're not small. You're not small. You're not weak, you're just comfortable. And comfort is the most dangerous place you can live because comfort builds cages. It builds habits that drain your potential. It builds routines that feel safe but suffocate your dreams. It builds a life where you wake up 10 years from now asking yourself, where did my life go? And if you don't wake up now, that's exactly what will happen. Let me give you a truth you might not like. Nobody is coming to save you. Not a mentor, not a miracle, not a lucky break. It's you. Your decisions, your actions, your discipline, your courage, your willingness to do the uncomfortable thing again and again, that's what changes your life. And here's the hardest part. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they refuse to take responsibility for their future. They keep waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for life to get easier, waiting for someone to push them, waiting for a sign. Let me give you the sign. This is it. This truth, you either decide today that your future is yours to build, or you keep pretending that life is happening to you instead of it because of you. And I know this message is strong. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it hits a nerve, but that's exactly why I'm saying it. You won't change your life with soft words. You will change your life by hearing the truth that makes you stop, breathe, and admit, I'm the only one who can fix this.
Okay, let me tell you about a pattern I've seen in thousands of people.
They want a better future, but they don't want to take responsibility for the work that future requires. They want confidence without taking action. They want success without discipline. They want happiness without boundaries. They want opportunity without risk. They want progress without discomfort. Progress without discomfort. But that's not how the world works. Life doesn't reward intention. Life rewards action. Let me repeat that. Life rewards action. Most people live trapped in their heads, thinking, worrying, overthinking, dreaming, planning, talking about change, posting about change, but never taking the step that actually creates change. Overthinking is the killer of your future. Your brain loves to keep you safe, even when safe means miserable. Your brain will say, I don't try. I don't risk it. I don't get rejected. I don't make a mistake. I don't look stupid. Your brain is trying to protect you from the discomfort of growth, but that protection is what keeps you trapped. And this is why your future becomes your fault, because you listen to the wrong voice. The voice of fear, the voice of doubt, the voice that wants you to stay exactly where you are. Sorry, let me tell you what successful people do differently. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait to feel confident. They don't wait to feel motivated. They move, even when it's uncomfortable, even when they're scared, even when they're not sure, even when they feel unprepared. They build the future they want by doing the smallest action they can do today. Your future is created by your repeated actions, not your repeated excuses. Think about that for a second. Every single day, you make small choices, and those choices stack. Every choice becomes a brick. Brick by brick, you are building something. Right now and today, you are building one of two things, a prison or a future. Your habits decide which one it is. And here's the good news. You can change your entire life with one powerful decision. I will take responsibility for my future. That decision is the turning point. That decision is the moment your life stops drifting and starts moving. That decision gives you power, energy, clarity, and direction. Because when something is your responsibility, you stop waiting and you start building. I want you to imagine your future self 5 years from now. Really see them. What do they look like? How do they speak? How do they feel? Where do they live? Who do they spend time with? What kind of confidence do they have? What habits do they practice? Now, here's the truth. That future version of you is either going to thank you or hate you. Thank you for being disciplined. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for showing up on the days you didn't feel like it. Thank you for doing the uncomfortable work. Or hate you for wasting time, for choosing comfort, for making excuses, for ignoring the opportunities right in front of you. So ask yourself right now, honestly, which future version of me am I building? Because the answer is not random. It's in your habits. It's in your choices. It's in your reactions. It's in your discipline. You are creating your future every single day, whether you realize it or not. And that's why your future is your fault. Let's go deeper, because now we're moving from awareness to ownership, the place where real transformation actually begins. Listen closely. Most people don't struggle because their dreams are impossible. They struggle because their patterns are predictable. Your patterns decide your future long before your dreams do. If you wake up every day and repeat the same behaviors, think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and make the same excuses, you will end up with the same life. Not because you're unlucky, not because you're not capable, but because you refuse to interrupt your patterns. And this is where the real truth punches hard. Your patterns are your responsibility. You've built them, you've reinforced them, you've protected them, you've defended them. You've allowed them. 10. And now those patterns have become your default identity. But identity can be rebuilt, and the future can be rewritten, but only if you're willing to break the patterns you've been living inside for years. Let me ask you something powerful. Do you know why discipline changes your life? It's not because it makes you a productive. It's because discipline teaches your brain a new identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, your brain learns, I am someone who follows through. I can trust myself. I can build the life I want. I am in control. And every time you break a promise, your brain learns the opposite. I'm inconsistent. I don't follow through. I say things, but I don't do them. I can't trust myself. Identity is not built from what you want. Identity is built from what you do. This is why your future becomes your fault, because every action you take either strengthens or weakens the identity that creates your future. Let me give you a real example. There are two versions of you inside your mind right now. Version A, the one who gets things done. The one who gets things done. The one who wakes up, follows through, takes action, pushes boundaries, and builds momentum. Version B, the one who delays, the one who procrastinates, the one who avoids discomfort, the one who excuses everything. Whichever version you feed every day wins. Whichever version you reward every day becomes your habit. Whichever version you choose repeatedly becomes your identity. And whichever identity dominates becomes your life. Your future is not created in some dramatic moment. It's created in the tiny, boring, daily decisions you make when nobody is watching. You want a different future? Start making different decisions. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when your schedule becomes easier. Now. Because let me tell you the truth, you're never going to feel ready. Your brain will always find a reason to delay. Your mind will always try to protect you from discomfort. But you don't grow from comfort. You grow from comfort. You grow from discomfort. You grow from friction. You grow from pressure. You grow the moment you decide, or ready or not, I'm doing this. Let me ask you something real. How many opportunities have you missed because you waited for confidence? How many dreams have you postponed because you waited for motivation? How much time have you wasted waiting for your perfect moment that never came? The people who change their lives are not waiting. They are choosing. And that choice, that small, bold moment, separates the people who build their future from the people who talk about their future. You know what separates winners from the rest? Not IQ, not talent, not luck. Self-responsibility. Winners own their actions, their decisions, their time, their habits, their reactions, their mindset, and their results. Everything. Owning everything gives you control over everything. And when you have control, you can change anything. But when you blame, when you justify, when you excuse, when you avoid accountability, you hand your future to circumstances instead of shaping it with intention. You were not designed to be a passenger in your own life, to be a passenger in your own. You were built to be the driver. Let's talk about something deep. Self-sabotage. You already know what sabotages most people. Not failures, not bad luck. not rejection. It's the quiet, invisible, everyday habits like scrolling instead of starting, complaining instead of changing, planning instead of acting, waking up late instead of waking up on purpose, starting things and never finishing them, saying I'm going to try instead of saying I will. Self-sabotage is not dramatic. It's subtle. It's silent. It's silent. It's disguised as a just taking a break, or I need to feel motivated first. Or this is not the right time, or I'll do it tomorrow. But let me tell you something. Tomorrow is the biggest lie you keep telling yourself. Tomorrow is how you waste your potential. Tomorrow is how your future disappears. Tomorrow is how your dreams die. Successful people don't rely on tomorrow. They rely on action right here, right now. They don't wait for things to perfect. They build while things are messy. They don't wait to stop being scared. They act while terrified. They don't wait for inspiration. They create momentum. They create momentum. They do what needs to be done, not what they feel like doing. That's discipline. And discipline is the birthplace of your future. You want to know the truth about motivation? It's unreliable. It's inconsistent. It's emotional. It's temporary. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation gets you excited. Discipline gets you results. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Motivation feels good. Discipline builds greatness. And let me tell you something uncomfortable. Your excuses feel real because your brain has repeated them for so long that they've become your truth. But they're not truth. They're habits. Habits of thought, habits of emotion, habits of behavior, and habits can be rewritten. If you want a different life, you don't need to be a different person. You need to create different habits. Because your habits predict your future, not your dreams, not your wishes, not your intentions, your habits. Let me tell you something that almost nobody admits. The version of you that gets everything you want already exists. But that version is buried under excuses, fear, procrastination, self-sabotage, and old patterns. You don't need to discover yourself. You need to remove the layers of bullshit that are burying your potential. Discipline removes those layers. Action removes those layers. Action removes those layers. Responsibility removes those layers. Courage removes those layers. And the moment you remove them, the moment you stop lying to yourself, you become unstoppable. Because now your future is no longer accidental. It is intentional. It is designed, it is earned, it is built by you, through you. For you, your future will never be perfect, but it will always be yours. And that's the power you've been ignoring. Take a breath, because in this part, we're going to uncover the truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. If your future is your fault, then your healing is your responsibility. Your growth is your responsibility. Your habits are your responsibility. Your discipline is your responsibility. And your success is your responsibility. Not because you chose your past, but because you can choose your future. And this is where real adults separate themselves from emotional children. Children want someone to fix everything for them. Adults fix themselves. And the moment you realize that nobody is coming to rescue you, something shifts inside you. Something powerful, something unstoppable, something unstoppable. You become your own rescue. Let me tell you something most people don't realize until it's too late. Your future doesn't care about your excuses. Your future only responds to your actions. You can convince yourself all day long that you're trying. But your future only listens to the truth written in your habits, and habits don't lie. Actions don't lie. Consistency doesn't lie. Your results will always expose the truth about your discipline. Let's get brutally honest for a moment. There are two painful truths in life. The pain of discipline, the pain of regret. One makes you stronger. The other destroys you slowly, and you get to choose which pain you live with. Discipline is hard.
Yes, uncomfortable. Yes, it starts with you. Yes, but regret is worse. Regret eats you alive. Oh my God,
Regret wakes you up at 2 a.m. replaying the same missed opportunities. Regret steals the next 10 years of your life because you're stuck mourning the last 10. Discipline hurts for a moment. Regret hurts forever. So let me ask you, what's hurting you more right now? The effort you refuse to make or the results you can't stand living with? Because the future you dream about doesn't come from wishing. It comes from working. Let's talk about the biggest myth that keeps people stuck. I'll start when I feel motivated. Let me be very clear, you won't. You will not magically wake up one day full of motivation, clarity, courage, and energy. That day isn't coming. You know what actually happens? You wake up tired. You wake up stressed. You wake up overwhelmed. You wake up doubting yourself. You wake up wanting comfort. You wake up feeling the same as yesterday. But the decision you make in that moment is what builds your future. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. You have to choose it over comfort. You want success. You have to choose it over excuses. You want confidence. You have to choose it over fear. You want progress. You have to choose it over procrastination. The life you want will cost you the life you're used to. Let that sink in. Let me talk to the part of you that keeps saying, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. I'll start when things calm down. Things won't calm down. Life won't pause for you. Time won't stop for you. Energy won't magically appear for you. You have to create your own momentum. You have to build your own discipline. You have to take responsibility for your own future. Nobody else will do it for you. Let's talk about something deeper. Your routines are writing your future. Every morning you wake up late, every time you hit snooze, every time you pick up your phone before you pick up your purpose, every time you scroll instead of starting, every time you break a promise to yourself, you are teaching your brain something dangerous, that my goals don't matter. And your brain believes you. It always believes you. But the beautiful thing is this. You can teach your brain the opposite. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, you teach your brain, hey, we're in control. Say no to distractions. Say no to distractions. Finish something you started. We follow through. Take the step, even though you're scared. Act as disciplined action rewires your identity. Every disciplined moment builds your future. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about direction. It's about direction. Your direction decides your destination. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to make one powerful choice today and tomorrow and the day after. Small choices compound. Small wins multiply. Small behaviors create big outcomes. And that's how discipline saves you. Let's talk about fear. The thing that stops almost everyone. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your compass. Anything your fear points to is exactly where your growth lives. Fear says, don't try. Your future says, if you don't try, you'll never know what was possible. Fear says, you might fail. Your future says, a failure is the doorway to becoming stronger. Fear says, if people will judge you. Your future says, they're judging you anyway. Live your life. Fear says, you're not ready. Your future says, no one is. Start anyway. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? Your future says, what if it changes your whole life? The difference between people who build their future and people who lose their future is simple. One listens to fear. The other listens to the possibility of who they could become. Let me give you a truth that will set you free. You don't need confidence to start. Confidence is what you earn from starting. Confidence comes from evidence, and evidence comes from action. Every time you push yourself, every time you honor your commitments, every time you choose discipline over comfort, your brain collects proof. I am capable. I am powerful. I can change my life. That proof becomes confidence. That confidence becomes momentum. That momentum becomes progress. That progress becomes identity. And identity becomes your future. This is how people rebuild their whole lives. Not from one giant leap, but from showing up over and over, even in tiny ways. Your future is your fault because your discipline is your choice. Let me ask you something that only you can answer. What would your life look like if you stopped lying to yourself? Stopped saying you'll start as soon. Stopped pretending you're trying. Stopped making excuses. Stopped hiding behind fear. Stopped waiting for motivation. Stopped choosing tomorrow over today. What could you build? Who could you become? What opportunities would appear? What version of you would finally rise? Because here's the truth you already know deep inside. You're not lacking potential. You're lacking consistency. You're not lacking ability. You're lacking discipline. You're not lacking dreams. You're lacking daily decisions that match those dreams. And you can change that. You can flip the entire script of your life with a single decision. I am taking responsibility for my future. Say it again. Say it out loud. Feel it. Own it. Because the moment you say that, the moment you mean it, the rest of your life begins to change. Let's go even deeper now, because this is the part where excuses die and a new identity begins to take shape. Listen to me carefully. Most people don't fail because life is hard. Most people fail because they keep choosing what is easy. Comfort feels good today, but it destroys your tomorrow. Let me say something that might sting a little. You are living the life that your habits created, not your dreams, not your potential, not your intention. your habits. And the future you're going to live will also be created by your habits. Your future is your fault because your habits are your responsibility. Let's talk about a habit that is silently killing millions of futures, the habit of escaping your own life. Every time you escape into your phone, every time you binge watch instead of building, every time you avoid your emotions instead of healing them, every time you distract yourself instead of disciplining yourself, you are creating a future you won't want to live. And the most dangerous escapes are the ones that feel harmless. 10 minutes on your phone becomes an hour. One skipped task becomes a week of delay. One compromise becomes a lifestyle. Every time you escape, you're really saying, my future can wait. But your future is not waiting. Your time is moving, your potential is aging, your dreams are expiring. You don't get to pause life, you only get to choose how you live it. Let me tell you something powerful about discipline. Discipline is not about controlling your life. It's about controlling your choices. Your choices are the seeds. Your future is the harvest. If you plant procrastination, you harvest regret. If you plant comfort, you harvest weakness. If you plant excuses, you harvest disappointment. If you plant discipline, you harvest freedom. Let that sink in. Discipline is freedom, is freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from regret, freedom from the old you, freedom from the life you don't want anymore. You don't become disciplined by wanting it. You become disciplined by practicing it. So let's talk about practice. Real, simple, brutal practice.
Real, simple, brutal practice.
You build discipline the same way you build a muscle, by using it. Every time you wake up when you said you would, you strengthen the muscle. Every time you finish the task you planned, you strengthen the muscle. Every time you say a no to distractions, you strengthen the muscle. Every time you choose long-term over short-term, you strengthen the muscle. And eventually, you become the person who doesn't negotiate with their excuses anymore. And you want a future you can be proud of? You need to become the kind of person who doesn't break promises to themselves. Let me ask you something you've probably never asked yourself. How much longer are you willing to disappoint yourself? Because every time you delay, every time you say I'll do it later, every time you stop halfway, every time you give up on the plan you made, you're disappointing the one person you need the most to build your future, you. You cannot build a strong future with a weak relationship with yourself. Most people trust others more than they trust themselves because they've spent years breaking their own promises, but you can rebuild that trust. You can rebuild your confidence. You can rebuild your self-worth. You rebuild it through discipline. Oh, let's talk about something deeper. Identity shifting. If your future is your fault, then your identity is your responsibility. Let me explain. The reason people can't stick to discipline is not because they're lazy. It's because their actions don't match the identity they still believe about themselves. If you believe you're inconsistent, your brain will sabotage consistency. If you believe you're not disciplined, your brain will resist discipline. If you believe you're the kind of person who quits, you will quit